Hey, everybody. Welcome to Mega Boss News. And we're talking about the presidential election today and the debate, rather. And I think it took me a minute. The night of the debate, I was actually speaking in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I didn't get to see the debate that night. That's why I didn't come on that night. However, I want to make sure that we have a full understanding about everything that has transpired and that has taken place concerning this presidential debate. Before I get started, I want to make sure that everybody is connecting with us. So what I'm going to ask you to do is make sure that you hit that all of those buttons of connection, of like and subscribe, and make sure that you connect with. These are all the ways. We have 5 different ways for you to connect with us. You can connect with us on Facebook. That is Dr. Kevin A. Williams. X at Dr. KAW official. Instagram, Dr. Kevin A. Williams official. You can email me at megabossnews777 at gmail.com, or you can do YouTube at Kevin A. Williams 777 at Kevin A. Williams 777. All right. The other thing that we're able to do, and hello to each and every one of you. I see you coming up and speaking, and I want to speak back to everybody. Blessings to each and every one of you. So let's make sure that we are sharing and put this out with everybody that we can. The next thing that I want to also put out there, and that is that you can support this podcast by sending whatever it is that you desire. I've always asked, though, that whatever you do this out of the kindness of your heart. It's not something that we are begging anybody to do, but as you support it, then we're able to do additional things that would help with the expense of equipment, things like that. All right. And the way that you do that is these are the ways that you can give: $ Dr. Kevin A. Williams, Zelle, Dr. Kevin A. Williams at gmail.com, PayPal.me/Dr. Kevin A. Williams, and you can mail it to 1822 Sharp Road, Greensboro, North Carolina. Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm asking everybody if you're able to send a gift of $7, so a gift of $7 on today. If you're not able to do that $7, you can do $5, $2, whatever. Just so a gift, and it is much appreciated. Let us talk about this presidential debate. I was lost for words, and the reason being is because my truth is that I don't believe that. I'm not sure if either side gave the best presentation of themselves. I'm not sure. Just not sure. For me, they didn't. And that's just my truth, where I am, and my perspective of it. For me, they did not give a good representation of themselves. And the reason being is because I think that there were some obvious things that was happening while I was looking at it, and things that I noticed because I came in with a view of, okay, let's see, because nobody right now has 100% of I'm going that way. And I wanted to be able to see, well, what is being offered, what is being said, and let's really look at plans and things like that. Before this presidential debate, I asked everyone to make a list of things that you would be looking for in order for answers to be revealed. I think that there were some things that came out that it turned into a tit for tat. Now, we got some answers in some places, but not really in depth. Now, I'm going to ask you all this question because I don't want to put words in your mouth. I know my view. And so let's really take a look at it. In the questions that you wrote down, how many of you can say that you had 20% of your questions answered, 50% of your questions answered, 100% of your questions answered, no percent of your questions answered? Um, let's look at that, because my list, I just took the list and just threw it against the wall. I just threw it against the wall. I was like, this is not a debate. This is a civilized argument with moderators. So none of my questions were answered. Maria, that is my same sentiment. My same sentiment. 100% from Trump, very low percentage for Kamala. Okay, let's look at the next one. I actually left feeling very sad for America and not knowing what was going to happen to us. I agree. None. I agree. 0%. Let's look. 0 from me. Nothing was answered. One thing I refuse to do, and that is that look at a situation and then say, and still put up these answers for me because I want to be able to see them. Look at a situation, no answers, unfortunately. They keep flip-flopping on issues. I agree. I agree. All of my concerns were verified. And look at what she's saying, all of my concerns were verified. But, answers, none was answered, mostly from Trump. Let's look. Look at some more. All for me. All right. So all were answered. None. They both talked around the question that was asked. Okay. Let's look. Someone else was embarrassing. And give me 1 or 2 more, and then I'm going to put some things here. 60% from Trump. Harris avoided way too much. Many 20%. Okay, and give me 1 more. Wasn't it the job of the moderators to bring them back to the issues? I think it was the job of the moderators to bring them back to the issues. And I had a concern because I think that there needs to be some balance when it comes to these debates. And what I noticed is when the moderator gives you an opportunity to be able to comment on that, stay within the confines of what they give you. If they say they give you 1 minute to respond, 2 minutes to respond, then respond within that 1 minute and 2 minute and handle yourself civilly. All right. That's the first thing. The second thing is that when you're moving to the next question and you're saying, no, but I got to respond to that particular thing, let me tell you what that says to me. What that says to me is that possibly the question that you ask, I don't have an answer for. So I'm going to use this to say, I got to respond to that. In reality, I don't have an answer for what you're asking me because I haven't thought that far, or I don't have a plan. I don't have a plan. Now, unfortunately, I had to step away from this whole situation and start doing my own research on different things about how they view things and things that are happening, because there are certain things that, let me tell you my issue with Donald Trump. I'm gonna tell you my issue with Donald Trump. I'm gonna tell my personal issue with Donald Trump. I'm gonna tell you my personal issue with Kamala Harris. All right. My personal issue with Donald Trump, one of them is you've got to stop saying everybody, everything, all. Stop those words. Because stop saying everybody knows it. Everybody doesn't know it. Stop saying all people view things. All people don't view it that way. They don't. They don't. They don't. They don't. And so when you're coming out and you're saying, all of these different things, that former President Trump, he has to stop that. The everybody, everything. When people, even when people are stating in a disagreement, will you always, or you never, or everybody, or when you start doing things like that, you start including a whole bunch of things that really are not true. And that means that you're overshadowing some areas because you really don't have any answers. And the moment that you respond and say, well, what about this person, and this person? Then the first thing you say is that, oh, well, that's just one instance, but what about? Until you lay them all out. Let me tell you my issue with Kamala Harris. The same thing. Stop going with this everybody and all and this, that, and the other. Don't like it. It's not cool. It's not cool, and it's not true. It's not true. All right. I'll give you an example. Because Trump does it all the time, and he needs to stop that. Kamala started doing all of it. She needs to stop that. Stop. Just stop. Kamala said that she goes to places, and all the leaders in all of the countries basically are laughing at him. They think he's a joke. That's not true. It's not true. I think that's why he responded. I think that's why he responded and said, okay, but what about the president of Hungary? So I think that both of them need to stop that all and everything. The next thing, I don't care if it was true. I don't see any evidence that it is. There's telling me that there are some things that are out there. Maybe they are. I don't see about this eating dogs and cats. Now, if it is true, to be honest with you, even if it was true, I wouldn't have said it. I wouldn't have said it. It's not presidential. It's not presidential. It's not presidential. What say you guys? Because I want you all to tell me and see right now. And when you're talking, here's the deal, guys. When you're expressing yourself, I don't want you to defend the candidate that you like. Because when you start defending the candidate that you like, you're not looking objectively. And for those of us that are looking objectively, we're like, okay, I can see that as a defense. When you say you never and you always and this, that, and the other, don't fall into that path. Don't fall into that path. Right now, what we're looking at right now is that, and I'm going to say it, neither candidate, in my opinion, gave or showed their best self. They didn't. They didn't. Go ahead and put something up, because I want to be able to see. I want to be able to see what people are saying. The world is watching the strongest country in the world, and we are looking very weak. It's so scary, sir. It is. It is. It is. Give me another. It was an absolute joke. Absolutely embarrassing for the US, because all they were doing was attacking each other. I agree. Because right now, what is at stake is the American citizen, the American people, and our nation. Our nation is at stake. Our nation is at stake. Give me another. Right. I'm sorry, but she looks very emotional during these conversations, and other countries see that weakness, and we can't afford that in this atmosphere. Give me another. I believe a lot of fluff was spoken. When you take away the many words, not much was said. Time is out for pointing the finger and accusations. I 100% agree. I can't believe he said that. Shake my head. It was a shot to his credibility. I 100% agree. Because if you're talking about, if you're a president, then you don't go off of what they're saying on television and what they're saying on social media and things like that. You're going to have to do your fact checking. You got to. You got to do your fact checking. When I heard dogs and cats, I closed my eyes. I was like, I'm not hearing this. I'm not. I'm not hearing this. I'm just not. I'm not hearing it. So I'm not. I'm not. All right. Now I don't know if you all have seen it, but I would like for you to take an opportunity and take a look at something. Dr. Phil did something, and I want you all to take a look at what he did. Dr. Phil did a show, and it was on the body language of not just the two candidates, but also the moderators. And the outcome of what was said is extremely unique. Is extremely unique. Extremely unique. I want you to take a look at it's Dr. Phil. You pull it up and you take a look at it said presidential debate body language. The outcome of that, I don't even want to talk about it because it'll seem one-sided. I want you to look at not only that one. There's another gentleman out there. I can't think of his name right now, but he did his own analysis because all of them are professionals in doing body language. It is amazing of what they came out with and what they said. And they not only talked about the candidates, but they talked about the body language of the moderators. And one of the things that was stated was that the moderators did not like Trump. They said the moderators did not like Trump. That's in the body language thing. They said it did not like Trump. Their body language said it did not like him. I will say this. I can't say whether they liked him or didn't like him, but I will say that both of them checked Trump on some things that he said, and they never checked Kamala. I think in being a moderator, you cannot be biased. You can't be biased. Even if I am sitting beside, if I have people that disagree with my views all the time, that's fine. But if a moderator is going to be between me and that person, you can't be biased towards me or for that person because it's not fair to either side. And it's not fair to the minds that are there. That's one of the reasons why when people are doing certain things online, they can say things about you, but you don't have a chance to respond. And the reason you don't have a chance, the reason that they're pushing it is because they're trying to make you look as bad as possible. Here's the reality. The reality is that you have to be able to have a fair situation. It's just got to be fair. It's got to be fair. It's got to be fair. Now, there are a lot of things that are out there, and I'm put some of these statements up in just a second, but there are a lot of things that are out there that are that people are saying. I can't fact check that. I don't know if one of the moderators was a sorority sister. I don't know. Maybe she was. Maybe she wasn't. If that is the case, then that probably should have been something that both sides should have known, and they should ask. All right, maybe there could be a bias there, so let's not do that. I don't know about that, but I do know that in doing these kind of things, you want to be as fair as possible, so that no one can say that the other side cheated. Let's just be fair about it. If your candidate is going to win, if you're watching a boxing match and you're rooting for one particular person, you want them to win, but you don't want them to win by cheating. You don't want them to win by giving them an edge somewhere, because that takes away from the quality of the value of who that person is. Go ahead and put something up here. I did not like that when Kamala was asked why she flip-flopped on her views in some areas. She didn't explain why or what revelation made her change her view. She just said what she plans to do. I agree, and I noticed that. I agree. I 100% agree. And for those that, I don't want anybody to go in straight defense. I want you to remember what was said and then how it was responded. So what I did was I pulled it up, and I'm going to pull it up in here, but I pulled up, there is a transcript, and that transcript, give me 1 second, and I'll show you where the transcript is, so that you can, ABC News did a transcript. It is September 10th, 2024 by Riley Hoffman, and he did a transcript on the whole night. From start to finish, a transcript on the whole night. I would like for you all to read the transcript, and you will see how things were avoided on both sides. How things were avoided on both sides. One of the main things that were concerning to me was economy, and I'll deal with that in a second. Would you put another question up or another statement up? We can get closer to what we claim we want in these proceedings by making the request of the Congress who sets the parameters for the executive branch. Campaign finance reform, actual debates with rules, mandated town halls, etc. AI. We can scrutinize their performances, but until the rules say they have to or can't do a thing, it will persist. I do agree. I do agree. I think that right now there needs to be some rules for both. And don't say one candidate did one thing without looking at the fact of the other candidate did the same thing. They both, I was very disappointed, very disappointed. Put my next up, please, if you don't mind. I thought it was strange how he didn't look at her. She was looking at him and did a great job pushing his buttons. She did a phenomenal job pushing his buttons. She didn't do a great job. She did a stupendous job at pushing his buttons. And the thing that triggers him is that when you start getting up under his skin, he's going to react. That's what you've noticed, is what I've noticed. He's going to react. And there's certain things that I knew that were sensitive. I think Trump was strong on economy. I think he was very strong on economy. I think Kamala was strong on family. I think that Trump has a strength when it comes to these wars and how he wants to deal with them. And I think that Kamala I think that she is more concerned about she's pushed her point on the middle class and things like that. But I think both of them they're very forward when it comes to economy and then when it comes to taxes. And what I decided to do, I decided to pull two tax people, and kind of pulled, actually there's more than that, but I pulled some things because I wanted to see what was the perspective. I said, I know what my view is, but when it comes to this tax situation, what is the perspective would be the outcome concerning Trump? What would be the outcome concerning Kamala? And so I pulled two people offline out of all the different people, because some of them are, and still these may be peddling, their expertise and everything. But I pulled two things offline, and I would like for you to see them in just a moment concerning taxes. This is concerning taxes. Now, there's some other things that I pulled, but I won't have time to do it. I'm already at 5:31, and I have to be done at 6 o'clock. But I'm going to pull these two particular things, and I want you to tell me your perspective on both. All right? So I'll pull the first one up. It doesn't matter which one you pull up. It doesn't matter to me. but once I see it, I'll know exactly um, who this is. All right. So let's take a look at this and let's see.
All right, guys, as we know, President Joe Biden dropped out of the presidential race on July 21st, 2024, right in the middle of his campaign. And this has created a very interesting situation where Vice President Kamala Harris took over as the Democratic frontrunner for the presidential election with just a few short months to go, and without actually winning a Democratic primary election. Ever since Kamala took over, she has given very few interviews and has answered very few questions to clarify her economic policies. This has left many people confused about exactly where she stands on important issues, such as taxation. However, she has made some comments throughout her campaigns, and she's also released a new tax plan in early September. So I'm going to break down her key points for her tax plan so we all know, what does the Harris administration believe in? Here's proposal number one: taxing unrealized capital gains. Kamala Harris wants to tax unrealized capital gains for the wealthy, and President Biden originally proposed this, but Kamala has announced that she also supports this idea. If you do not know what an unrealized gain is, it's a hypothetical profit that you might make one day by selling a capital asset such as a stock or a piece of real estate at a higher price than what you originally bought it for. So let's just say, for example, if you bought Apple stock at $200 and it rose to a price of $300, you would have an unrealized gain of $100 if you never sold. However, you would only realize the gain
if you're not making 150.
What in the world? All right. So what she's doing, go ahead and put that out. All right. So here's the deal. What happens is that he's talking about capital gains. So let me tell you what he says. You saw that, but let me tell you what it ends up to be. What it ends up to be is that if then we are taxed on unrealized gains, then that means that you don't know about that $100, and you won't know that you are gaining on that $100 until you make the commitment and you close. And then you can be taxed on that particular gain. All right. So unrealized gains, when we're talking about that, usually it is focused on the wealthy. This particular tax is focused on the wealthy when it comes to families or people that are making $100 million or more, and that they would be taxed like 24-25%. Okay, now here is the concern. When you're dealing with two things, you're dealing with a C Corp and you're dealing with an S Corp. Let's say, for instance, that you have a company, but it is an S Corp. If that company, it could be an LLC, but if it is an S Corp, that the revenues, gains, and different things like that can still circle right back around to the person that is over that S Corp, and it can be attached to your personal income, and you still have to pay taxes on the gains or the profits that you have left from your company. So think about that. Whatever you have right now, if in turn you have an S Corp and you make $100,000 extra, the company does, you still personally are taxed with an S Corp. So let's say, for instance, these people that are multimillionaires and billionaires, let's say they have an S Corp because it is working to their advantage. And then you put this in play. What are they going to do? Are they going to keep it an S Corp? Or are they going to turn back around and do something else to protect themselves? They're going to turn back around and do something to protect themselves. And what would that be? They would change it from an S Corp to a what? C Corp. And when they turn it to a C Corp, now personally, they are no longer then responsible for those taxes. The company is responsible. The corporation is responsible. The S Corp, you're solely responsible. You're still solely responsible. The C Corp, the corporation is responsible. So if you do that and they switch then the way that they handle their business and restructure their business, guess what? What you're trying to get from them, still, you won't get. Am I making sense here? and talk to an accountant, and tell them to explain to you the difference between S corp and C corp. Because even if you're an LLC with an S corp, you can still be personally responsible. With a C corp, you're not personally responsible. And so, I'm telling you, take a look at it. Take a look at it. So when you're talking about that, so I want you to put up the other video, and then we're going to pull some things up because I want you all to see this. This is not for Kamala, for Trump. This is where it is right now. And let's take a look at this. Would you play that? Let's look at this. I want you to see this.
Tax code system, which means the more money you make, the more money you pay in taxes. So if you make under $11,600, your top tax rate is 10%. If you make up to $47,100, your top tax rate is 12%. If you make up to $100,500 as a single income earner, your top tax rate is 22%. If you make up to $191,900, your top tax rate is 24%. $243,700, 32%. $609,300, 35%. And everything above that is 37%. This is what it looks like in 2024. And the reason why it looks like this, which might seem high or low, I guess it's up to you subjectively, but it's this rate, is because back when Donald Trump was president, he passed a tax reform called the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which cut taxes for pretty much all income earners. And this tax reform is set to expire next year, which means these tax rates are going to change. Let me show you. So if this tax reform actually expires, that means the tax rate that you might be paying could be going up. What that means is that the top tax rate for the bottom earners would stay at 10%. If it expires, that means for earners up to $47,100 will go up to 15%, not 12%. Here it will go up to 25%, not 22%. Here it would go up to 28%, not 24%. Here it would go up to 33%, not 32%. Here it would stay the same at 35%, which is currently 35%. And then the top tax rate would go up to 39.6% instead of the 37%. And just so you know, these numbers, the amount of money you need to make to fall into each bracket, they adjust every single year because of inflation, which is why I don't want you to really emphasize this, but really pay attention to these numbers right here. Now, what the Trump team has essentially said is that they don't want this to happen. They don't want it to lapse, that they want to extend this tax reform, which would keep the lower tax rate for pretty much everybody across the board, except for the really low income earners. But for everybody else, you would see a benefit. And I want to remind you that these are marginal tax brackets. What that means is if you're making $100,000 a year, that does not mean that you're paying 25% in taxes. What that means is for the first $11,600, you're paying 10% of your money in taxes. For then between $11,600 to $47,100, you're paying 12% of your money in taxes. And then for every dollar that you earn between $47,100 and then the $100,000, you're going to be paying the 22% of your money in taxes. So this is the top tax rate, and these are marginal tax brackets, which means as you make more money, well, then you pay more taxes on the more money that you earn. This is the first part to the Trump tax plan.
All right, so take that out.
The second part to this is...
All right, so all of these things you can take a look at. You see where I got it at. You can take a look at it and pull it all out. This is my point. My point is this, and that is that when we are looking at things like our economy and things that are taxes, because every family wants to save money, you've got to make sure that you're not just going blindly into anything. I don't care if Trump is in office or Kamala is in office, and that is my truth. My trust really is in God. My trust is in God. My trust is not in man. My trust is in God. But we have to look at something else. And that is that if they're going into that office, I think that every voter needs to be able to say, listen, everything that you can't look at, let me go right up the line. If anybody that was voting for Bush, you can't say that everything that Clinton did was wrong. Bring the good, and let's keep that and keep the things that we don't like. If you're voting for Obama, you can't say everything that Bush did was wrong. Keep the good and change the next. If you're voting for Trump, you can't say everything that Obama did was wrong. Keep the good and change what didn't work, and let's move forward. If you are with Biden. You can't say everything that Biden did was wrong. Keep the good. Am I making good sense? And let's move forward. But when we want to change everything, we can run into a problem of not bringing in and keeping the value of the good. Now, we can itemize those things, but go ahead and put up, because I want to see what people are saying right now. Because I think that it becomes important. Let's look. He said it was originally Trump's idea, and Harris now agrees. So it seems it would be a topic of discussion for both sides. Okay, that's the kind of mindset that needs to be, because everything that somebody says, just because you don't like a person, if you don't like Trump, don't say everything that he says is a lie. And the reason being is because if he says a truck is coming and don't go out in the street, and the truck is coming, you don't go out in the street, you're going to get hit. You have to be able to identify everything that is there. The same thing when it comes to Kamala Harris. If you don't like Kamala Harris, you can't say that everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. You got to be able to identify that, because if you do not, the very thing that she is sharing with you that could save you could cause you to get hit. Next statement. Go ahead. Absolutely. Educate yourself on the candidates, their policies, and what it means for our future. That is most important. I'm serious. That is most important, because whoever is in office, and y'all need to hear what I'm saying, whoever is in office, respect the office. Respect the office. If you didn't vote for whoever and they end up, please hear what I'm saying. Whoever's in office, respect the office. And don't say they're not my president, your president. We're in the United States. And because of the United States, whoever won wins. They become our president. Whether we like it or not, they become our president. Let's move forward. Next statement. Go ahead. And this is why they should have actually talked about policies and facts in the debate, which they didn't. We are still in the dark. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Let me tell you what I would love. Let me tell you what I would love. I would love a debate where they have to come on and explain their plan without being interrupted. Just explain your plan. What is your plan? Explain it to the American public. Go ahead, give me the next question, the next statement. Just like Trump said, they couldn't come up with a better healthcare plan, so they kept the Obamacare. Guys, you keep what's good. You keep what's good. And what needs to be changed, you don't have to, I don't have to dog Biden. I don't have to dog Trump. They did such such, they did such such, they did such such. No, we have to be able to say, you know what, you did a good job on that, or you're excellent in that, or you're smart in that. And let's step away from the presidential side of it. Can we start looking at people and say, even if you don't care for them, but they're good at what they do. They're excellent at what they do. They're sharp at what they do. We want to demonize and destroy everything about a person because we have one or two issues with them. And it's amazing because once that one or two issues is resolved, then all of a sudden they're a great individual. How about they were a great individual to begin with? You were just short-sighted in the fact of because you had a personal issue. That this is what is happening in the candidacy. I'll give me the next thing and let's pull it up. The moderator's questions were not up to the standards they should have been, which is one of the reasons we are still in the dark. I think the moderators had a responsibility and to ask some hard questions and to say, hey, what is such and such? Now, I think one of the moderators pinned Trump to the wall and say, but what is your plan concerning such and such? And it was like healthcare or something like that. And he says, well, I have a concept of a plan, but I don't have a plan yet. That to me, I like. Let me tell you why. He was honest to say, I have a concept. It is not a plan, but I have a concept. But if you tell me you got a plan, And when I ask you what the plan is, you don't give me that plan. Mm-mm. And the American public has been lied to by so many different politicians that are going for president that said that they were going to do things that they did not do. Next question. Trump mentioned during the debate that his assassination attempt was linked to the current administration rhetoric. Why didn't they talk about that more during debate? The second attempt just happened. I think that both sides, and I don't know why they didn't talk about that more. I think they wanted to leave that alone because, to be honest with you, I think that both sides, and I don't like this about either side, don't weaponize the government for your own personal vendettas. And I think both sides, in my thought pattern, I think both sides are guilty of that. I do. I think both sides are guilty of weaponizing the federal government for their own personal issues. Whatever your personal issues are, I be grown up and be an adult. Be grown up and be an adult. That's why there's some people, let me tell you something, when people attack you personally, you have to be an adult enough to say, you know what, I'm not going to respond. I'm not going to respond. Because if I respond to you and if I react to what you're doing, I'm only feeding into your rhetoric. I'm not. Now, if you want to know something and say, listen, I don't like what you said, or I don't agree with what you said, so can you explain that? That's great. But to literally just attack people, and I don't agree with it. Next statement. He stumbled bad on climate change. The problem is it is directly tied to inflation, terror, and public health. We must have a unified agenda on the environment, period. Here's the deal, guys, and that is that, did he stumble? He stumbled on some things. Did she stumble? She stumbled on some things. I'm telling you right now, I don't think either side won that debate. I think both sides have their fans and everybody is screaming what they're screaming. But me being right there in the middle, I can't give this debate to either one of them. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. Kamala could not respond to anything concerning that border. She couldn't. Now, you may say she did. She didn't. She didn't handle that border situation right. She didn't respond correctly. She didn't. And I've been waiting for it because I want to see, what is your plan? Because your responsibility concerning the border, your responsibility concerning when you're talking about foreign things like that, there was not a good response concerning how we came out of Afghanistan. Wasn't a good response. So I think Kamala needs to brush up on that, fix that. I do. I think that Trump needs to brush up and fix a few things. Be able to debate the fact with facts, not debate the fact with rhetoric. I know some of y'all are sick of me today. You're mad, whatever. But I'm telling you right now, nobody won to me. Nobody won to me. Go ahead. Next question. Next statement. Right? Trump closing statements. He didn't say one thing about what he planned to do. We have to be able, guys, we got to have a plan. Give me the next statement. Shouldn't they be thinking and strategizing a plan for if they win? Yes, they should. We're about 60 days away from election, or less than that. Less than that. You were less than 60 days away from election, and we ain't heard a plan. We have not heard a detailed plan. Let me tell you who's going to win this election. The person that can come out to the American people and explain not only their plan, but explain their why. And to me, obviously, it's not going to be in a debate. So that means that somebody is going to have to spend some personal money to buy some time on television and explain their plan without attacking anybody else. Just give it fact for fact. that person is going to win. Now, somebody needs to be a Ross Perot in this situation. Put your money where your mouth is and explain to the American people who you are, what your plan is to do. That is my belief. Spend your personal money. All this freaking money that they're raising, millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. And you got CNN backing Kamala and you got Fox backing Trump, then they should be able to give you some level of a time to say for 1 hour, we're going to go from detail to detail to detail of what the plan is and why, because they're failing to do that when it comes to these debates. Put the next thing up. I told y'all gonna be sick of me today because it's crazy to me. I appreciate this conversation. I feel better knowing that I'm not the only one on the fence. And people don't make it better when their hatred towards each candidate. This was a safe environment to be real. I appreciate that because honestly, ain't nobody got my vote right now. Ain't nobody got my vote. I got to be led by the Holy Ghost at this point because if they don't come out with something, I got to be led by the Holy Ghost. If you gave me information, I think the Holy Ghost has given me enough wit to be able to say, okay, based on this, this, and this, such and such. If there is no evidence, if there is no evidence of what you are saying, the rhetoric that you are saying, you have to identify where you got it from and why you made the statement. That's true. Go ahead and put it up. What we got? Trump cozying up to Putin in his foreign policy was weird. I think it was weird, but I tell you something else that's weird. I think what's the other thing that's weird is Putin publicly stating that he's supporting Kamala Harris. That's weird. That's weird to me. Why are you supporting anybody in the United States? Because you are an opponent and you have already stated, you have publicly stated that the United States is your enemy. That's what Putin has stated. So if you stated the United States is your enemy, why are you supporting a particular candidate? Please don't make me feel like the reason you're supporting Kamala is because you feel like you can get over on her. That's weird to me. Somebody else, go ahead, let's pull it up. I'm just concerned about Trump's anger. That's not healthy for this nation or for himself. The majority of his former top officials are no longer for Trump, including his top MAGA leaders. I believe that a lot of them that have exited are not for him, but there are a lot that have exited. There are a lot of them that are still there are for him. Now, let me tell you my thought about that. I don't know if I'm going to find anybody that got fired from Trump that's going to be for him. I don't think anybody that got fired from a job is for the people that and maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that Kamala needs to make a statement concerning this economy and this taxes that makes sense. I do know that Kamala needs to come out with some level of the border. I do know that Trump needs to stop talking about cats and dogs. I do know that Trump needs to stop saying, Lord have mercy, what was that thing he said? That states are doing abortions at the 9th month, and then also when the baby is born, still deciding whether they stop. I think on both sides, stop. Just stop. You know, I pray for intelligent conversation, and I'm talking about worldwide, because everybody wants to demonize and destroy everybody else to make themselves look so good. But to make you look good, to make me look good, I got to destroy you. As an intelligent individual, you got to be able to say, this is a good person, even though I don't like their policy on this and this. I think Trump's policy is good with this, this, and this. I think Kamala's policy good is this, this, and this. I disagree here. Know where you disagree. Know where you have the issue. So when you stand at that poll, you're voting your conviction. Give me the next. Lord, I got 3 minutes. This is so good. Do you believe Vice President Kamala Harris will push for reparations after she is elected? She is confident enough to wear tennis shoes like you. Well, I don't think that she's going to push reparations. I don't think it's a popular subject. I don't think so. I don't think it's a popular subject. I just don't. So in that, because there's some people that are trying to talk about reparations, but not many. And I don't think when the person that possibly could have pushed it would have been Obama, and he left. I think he left that alone because he was focused on other things. All right. I don't think Kamala will push reparations. And that has not been a conversation for her. Not been a conversation for her. I know she made a statement that she is, Lord have mercy, don't quote me, but I think she made a statement that she's Asian American. She's the first Asian American vice president. I think that's what she said. I think that, tell me, ask you a question. Do you think that this, that the debate needs to be a redo? Let me ask you that. I got to close this out in 1 minute. This was not good for the American voters. This last one was not good for the American voters. So my question to you is, do you think that Trump should do a redo? Trump and Kamala Harris should do a redo? Yes. 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 No, I don't think so. No, but a town hall may do it. Yes. They should redo. Yes. Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Only if the second debate moderators are non-biased. I agree. Redo. No, but there should always be 3: foreign policy, economy, and then other topic of choice. Give me a couple more. Yes, they should. Trump said he does not want one. I think they should do a redo. If they have some stipulations and boundaries, I agree. I agree. Everybody has to be respectful to the rules. If you're not respectful to the rules in a debate, how are you going to be respectful to the rules when it comes to being in the White House? Yes, but he said that he won't do it again. Okay, so, but I think that there should be a redo. All right. So let me close this out. Very interesting conversation. I like the conversation because nobody on here is attacking anybody else's views. It's just a view. It's just a view. And all of us are American citizens, and it's just a view. Just like you have a spiritual view. Just like you have a economic view. Everybody's got a view concerning what is happening right now. Now, what do I believe? I do believe that somebody needs to come out and start talking about a plan. Because I'm telling you right now, in any other situation concerning a business, if you had to put a president over a company, that let's say that the former president had retired or expired, you would not put somebody in as a president of that company hoping that they had a plan because they said, I'm gonna get there one day. A plan needs to be exhibited and needs to be revealed. There's something else I had to tell you all, but I don't remember. All right, so I'm going to close this out with this, that each and every individual needs to make sure that you hold, when it comes to politicians, hold their feet to the fire. Ask questions of why. Ask your why questions. Can you explain such and such to me? So hold their feet to the fire. These are the 4 ways to give. And I'm asking everybody if you would give that $7 today. At Cash App, $ Dr. Kevin E. Williams, Zelle, drkevinewilliams@gmail.com, paypal.me/Dr. Kevin E. Williams, and you can mail it to 1822 Sharp Road, Greensboro, North Carolina, zip 27406. And the ways to connect with us is Facebook, Dr. Kevin A. Williams, X, Dr. KAW Official, Instagram, Dr. Kevin A. Williams Official, YouTube at Kevin A. Williams 777, and also Megaboss News 777 at gmail.com. You all have been great. We may come on and do a part 2 of this because there's some things that I want to show you all, because we didn't even get to talk about the videos that I showed you concerning how taxes work. But I do want you to see those 2 videos and pull it out. And if you subscribe to those individuals, just tell them I saw it on Megaboss or whatever. I don't know either one of these guys. I support good content. If content is going to be destructive and try to kill people, I don't support that. But good content I support, because I like people to think evenly. I like people to think evenly. All right. So blessings to all of you. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I will see you next time. Take care.